Hello from Swissnex at Pier 17 in San Francisco. I'm Mary Ellen Johnson, the head of exhibitions at Swissnex. For those of you joining us for the first time here, Swissnex is an organization that seeks to connect Switzerland and the West Coast of the US in arts, education, and innovation, specifically focusing around themes of digital societies and regenerative economies. Today, I'm very excited to share with you the first project from our Beyond 2020, a post-pandemic practice. This call to Swiss artists came out in the early summer when we knew even less than we know now about what to expect from COVID's impact on our lives. With this artist call, we wanted to both find new ways to support artists at a moment when we could no longer invite them to create exhibitions in our physical gallery or lead workshops, give lectures or performances at the pier. But we were also interested in exploring how artists and designers might answer this problem themselves. How was their practice impacted? How are they still producing work, collaborating with each other, reflecting? Also, how might Swissnex still enable international networks and collaboration in this time of digital screens? The call asked them to propose projects, interventions, performances, and artworks that in some way responded to or reflected on our accelerated digital society that we live in now. The digital was not new, but is definitely now amplified. I think the inclusion of the word post in the call was a kind of hopefulness about where we might be now in 2021. And despite these ongoing closures, we have a kind of hopefulness now about when this post may come. In the fall of 2020, we chose 8 projects that we felt brought together different points of view to these now commonplace questions, and that we could explore together in digital space. Today, we present the first of these 8 projects, which is the Soothsayings of Iris, created by Guta and Lauren Huret. I first just want to say a few words about the format of today's event. Maria and Lauren will first present some insights into the creation of the work and into the character of Iris. If you have not yet seen it, I invite you to view it in the exhibition section of the Swissnex website. During their presentation, you're welcome to add any questions to the Q&A function as we go along. We'll also have an open Q&A after the presentation where you're welcome to even come into more direct conversation by joining us on stage. All you need to do is raise your hand. Please do note, however, that today's event is recorded and will be reshared by Swissnex on our various platforms. First, I'll say a few words about our artists. Maria Guta is a Romanian-born artist based in Switzerland whose work looks into the mechanisms of self-representation, which she reenacts by placing herself both behind and in front of the camera. Perpetually constructing and curating alternate cyber identities, she makes use of immersive digital tools and social media in her work. She has a BFA from the National University of Arts in Bucharest, Romania, and an MA in art direction from École in Lausanne, Switzerland. Lauren Huret, born in Paris, lives and works in Geneva. Her work, mainly composed of videos, installations, performances, and collages, is an ongoing examination of the influence of media and tech culture on belief systems. Lauren has degrees from the School of Fine Arts in Bordeaux, France, and from HED in Geneva, Switzerland. In November, Lauren also launched an online residency with Swissnex, where she continues her research into media bewitchment, illusions of automation, and the performative power of images. You can follow her blog on our website. Again, check out our exhibitions page where you'll find the relevant links. Thank you so much, Lauren and Maria, and welcome. I think you might.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Mary, and hello.
Hi,
everyone.
So how are we gonna do this right now? We're gonna share a PDF that we build in some kind of chronological order or aspect. and like how we worked and how we built the character of Iris, how we found, like the sites where we filmed, the costume, the decor, and also how we met, and also the writings and everything. As Mary said, you are totally welcome to just write if you have a question in the chat, so we can answer, on spot if there is a specific question for a specific detail. Yeah, so we're gonna start the PDF, and then after we're gonna stop the PDF, and we're gonna be ready for a question if there are any for us. So let's start. So we named our presentation today everything you wanted to know about Iris. So we're gonna start by telling you like how we met, because I think it's very like a nice coincidence that we actually, Maria and I, are living a few kilometers away in Switzerland, but we actually met in San Francisco at Swissnex, San Francisco. And so we wanted to pay a little tribute to that for the beginning. And we met and we connected instantly with our, like work and our common interest. And we took a car the next day of the opening where we met, and we decided to drive around Silicon Valley and just visit a bunch of, giant tech companies and the Computer History Museum, which is great. I encourage you to go if you haven't, and if you're in San Francisco. And we'll say like we're both fascinated by how tech culture is influencing a lot on celebrity culture, esotericism, and, so to put it mildly, tech mysticism. So that's us here, and that's us also here in front of Google. We took selfies, like we're not millennials, but almost. And yeah, so this is like a side pass to really introduce how we came up with our first project. So we are back in...
Yeah, this is almost exactly 1 year ago in Romania, just before the pandemic went crazy. And I was there visiting my family, and I went for the first time to visit Ceausescu's private house, which now became a museum. And so it's quite a crazy place, less opulent than the huge other monster called the House of People, the Palace of the Parliament. And I made a short selection of pictures, like here, for example, it was their bedroom with actually apparently their original pajamas on the bed, which was quite weird actually. And yeah, there were all kinds of rooms decorated in styles that I don't know. Ceausescu would go and visit a certain country, he would see something that he would be impressed by, and then he would order the exact same style for one of the rooms of his villa. That would be his green room with a little inside swimming pool and a peacock randomly passing by from time to time. That's the other swimming, like the indoor swimming pool, which is amazing, and it's all covered in this
mosaic. Yeah.
And that was the wardrobe of Ana Ceausescu with the original items that were still being there. And so I sent these pictures to Lauren after this visit, and then actually Lauren suddenly came up with this crazy idea of how would it be to actually make imagine 73 questions, which is a Vogue format.
Yeah.
Imagine this in Ceausescu's house. Imagine us doing an interpretation of this format, but in this specific location. So
yeah, but because it was during COVID time, it was during the first pandemic, and so Maria was stuck in Bucharest and I was in Switzerland. It was not quite possible to actually make a project in the house, but first maybe I want to segue into like, I hope everybody knows who Ceausescu is.
Yeah, it's true. I kind of took it as if anyone would know. So as I'm originally from Romania and born in the early 80s, I grew up for a while under the dictatorship of Ceausescu. So he was our terrible dictator, a very unsympathetic, evil villain kind of character. And so yeah, this actually in 1989 there was a revolution. I mean, yeah, it happened in other Eastern countries too, but in Romania it was also kind of violent because it ended up with him being executed live on TV. And so people were super angry and raged, and they destroyed a lot of what he left behind. But apparently the army took over this house, especially for protecting what was in there, and because otherwise people would have get in and destroyed all that too, because it was kind of horrible. I remember the first images that came out from the house, because no one obviously had access to this house before, and while everyone was living in extreme poverty, they were having this lavishing villa.
Yeah, it's like in the contrast, this luxurious, like villa, in contrast of like all the poverty from the communist dictatorship in Romania, seemed to me like so obscene actually, that it reminded me of this Vogue format that is called 73 Question. That is a format invented by I forgot his name now.
Yeah,
Joe,
I also forgot his
Joe
name.
something.
Let's call him Joe.
Let's call him Joe. He works for Vogue and invented this rapid fire questionnaire for. So basically, the format is a rapid fire interview of a celebrity, and then they go in their house, and they ask the star 73 questions. Of course, everything is really well scripted, but we're gonna come back on this aspect after. But that's basically how we kind of like stick the two things together of like, maybe Maria can interpret, can be like a star and like present us this house, this luxurious house. And because of COVID, we couldn't do it, and we thought also like it might be a bit too ironic, and we were like kind of also a bit skeptical of doing it in the house, which was like super historically charged, like monument.
It's quite heavy.
It's quite
maybe
heavy.
We also felt like we need more time to
Yes.
process this and to see if we really want to do it there. So
yeah, but because Kim Kardashian is appearing on the screen, and maybe some people don't know about her, but we share with Maria and we share a common fascination for her. I personally think she invented a new type of economy based on solely image, like selling image of herself. And one of the 733 question format by Vogue is happening in her house. We're gonna come back on this, but her house is very specific, was designed by Kanye West, her husband, and another famous worldwide known architect called Axel Vervoort. So we're gonna come back on this, but we kind of like had all this inspiration as a base for doing something, and Kim Kardashian was, we would say, our main muse on this project. And then we decided, okay, because
Then
Maria...
I was back in Switzerland, so yeah, we basically thought maybe we should go local for now, as anyway we cannot really travel too far at the moment. So we thought of finding a place in Switzerland, and I think it was quite funny because we thought we both had the same idea of this specific place, which is called Guta, and it's near Basel in Switzerland, and it was built by Rudolf Steiner, and it's basically the center of anthroposophy, probably.
So
go ahead.
It's just like we were super interested in the figure of Rudolf Steiner, which he's passed in 1928, if I remember correctly. So very early 20th century figure, very prolific, and he has still has a major influence on all kind of type of culture in Switzerland, which be like educational, industrial, because he owns, for example, Steiner started Veleda, the beauty company, on philosophical and spiritual level, because anthroposophy is quite huge, actually. Educational level also, because I don't know, probably everybody heard about the Waldorf Steiner school education, which is based on, some principles, and it's very linked to Christianity too, and to mysticism. So for us, it was some kind of compact node of different complex notion. And of course, the building is completely fascinating, because the principle of Steiner also is to avoid right angles, to have more you want to say something?
No, it's fine.
So here are pictures when we first visited the building. There was you can see very interesting forms and shapes, and the building was open for the public. And then we were thinking, maybe we can film here. We can be maybe reincarnation of Rudolf Steiner, because Rudolf Steiner truly believed in reincarnation.
Yeah, I mean,
this is him
with the first version of the Guta.
Yeah, with the first version of the model of the first version who burned in 1925. So to replace a bit in the context, it was him, a Christian mystic, trying to revolutionize all kind of disciplines, which is also agriculture. He invented the biodynamics, so agriculture with specific gesture according to certain seasons. And this building burned in 1925, and then he rebuilt another building, which is the building we saw in the beginning here. This is the actual building you can visit, not Kim Kardashian. This is the actual building you can visit, and also all around there is all kind of very interesting architectural example of this principle of no right angle, and this very kind of pre-modern architecture somehow in Switzerland. Basically, also the context is just right after the First World War, right? So there are a bunch of intellectuals who still believe in some principle in humanity after the war. It was, millions of dead, and it was a disaster. So they were trying to somehow rebuild the faith in humanity, and yeah, it was interesting. So they were encouraging the arts also. It was, that's the brand we talked about. I'm sure everybody knows this brand. It's all over the world now. It's very interesting because Steiner worked with a lot of women in his life, and one of the women, she was a doctor, and she kind of like established Veleda and like helped making some formulas. And so this is a special cover we found. It's Iris Naturkosmetik. So they were taking plants and really trying to bring plants to like a major public or buyers. So they made a lot of money with Veleda and other ventures. The logo you can see is like really representative of the logo on the bottom of the picture is really representative of the anthroposophy and the philosophy of, you know, like going on with having a more natural approach, going back to nature basically. And to segue to Kim Kardashian, I think we were super fascinated by how many ventures also have Kim Kardashian and the new economy she's putting in place. And still, I don't know if you know, but her family is also very Christian, so there's a lot of values and a lot of thoughts about God. And she's also like very rich, and for us, she's embodying the figure of somebody that, you know, like knows exactly how media works now and how you can make money out of your own image and how you can sell that basically. So that's how we came up with like kind of glued all kind of things together. This is Sunday service. This was a service / choral made by Kanye West. It's big on the social network. Like every time there was this event, so this is Kanye West on his knees right now. Every time there was this event, like people are following on social media, people are sharing it. So we feel like it's, I think like now Kim Kardashian has over 200 million followers on Instagram.
Yeah, she's somewhere there.
Her little sister, Kylie Jenner, also. So for us, like looking through the lens of how these people are changing, you know, a lot of paradigm in the way that we see the world and how we, you know, like just like paying attention to the influence they're having on people all over the world. This is another example of like how the mashup for the construction of our character Iris. We were super inspired by Osho, who was a guru that started a giant commune in the US in the 80s. There's a very interesting documentary on Netflix called Wild Wild Country. If you're interested, I really encourage you to look at this documentary. It's insane. But they were also basically like following this guru. And for us, following a guru, belonging to a cult is very much similar to what's going on for us on social media, following people on Instagram, following them on social network. For us, it's a very strong link on how being influenced under the influence of somebody. And those are very interesting picture we put together. But Osho is very interesting figure, right? He's responsible for the first bioterrorist attack in the US. Very, very interesting character. And her right hand, who was a woman, now lives in Switzerland near Zurich, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's doing social work.
Yeah, she's taking care of elderly people. So yeah, there was all this coming in our mind, like, okay, let's make this character Iris based on gurus. She will be, at the same time, she will be like an entrepreneur, she will be like into tech, and she will be like a spiritual guru. She will think and she will know about other dimensions, other words. We, try to really like give her spiritual / esoteric, like spice. Another influence who's also important for us is Monte Verita in Ascona, Switzerland, which was basically the first commune in Switzerland, where a bunch of people came here celebrating arts. They were vegetarian. This was really, really early 20th centuries. And we found this picture. This is, I think, one of the most famous picture. But yeah, we put that also into consideration into the construction of our character in Iris. Then we needed a very specific space because we decided to not film at the Goetheanum.
Yeah, we thought it's maybe too charged with meaning and too symbolic and just too much.
It's too much of Rudolf Steiner.
Yeah, and although he was an important source of inspiration, we didn't want him to be at the center of it all. So then we start to look for an alternative, but we tried to keep a bit this reference of, actually, this is not the most specific example in that sense, but we still wanted, if possible, like rounded kind of architecture to keep a bit this aesthetics and
yeah, because we decided, like Iris will be the reincarnation of Rudolf Steiner, so she needs to live in a place where there's no really like a lot of right angles. So we looked at this villa because we were looking for haunted villas in Switzerland, and this one is probably the most famous. It was built by Adolf Loos, who is a very famous architect. And this house is supposedly haunted. It's on the market for 48 million francs. It's right on the lake in Montreux. And so we tried to rent it, but it was a bit too expensive for us, for our budget.
It's called Villa Karma.
Yeah, Villa Karma.
It's quite nice for a name.
And then we stumbled upon the work of Daniel Gratalou, who is an architect based in Geneva. And these are pictures from his flat in Geneva. That's Maria looking at the window with a sad face. But we were so excited to shoot in that place because this was really embodying all the interesting, aspect of this anthroposophical vibe that we were looking for. Unfortunately, yes.
No, I just want to say it was quite interesting because he's an architect. He did a lot of work. Now we didn't actually. We forgot to add here. He also built a church in La Chaux-de-Fonds, which is quite known, also all-rounded. But what was interesting about this place was that he made it quite a while, like 50 years ago, I don't know, and he's living there ever since. So it's really his apartment, it's really his place. So we were very excited when he accepted us to go see the place, and we were sure that that's it, that's where we're gonna shoot. But unfortunately it didn't really work out.
It was also like full COVID time, and I think like mostly it was not safe for him because he's kind of like he's not super young, and he was a bit scared of having like a whole team of that. We totally understand, but this type of space for us was really like this idea of like fetish. I can say it.
Fetishizing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm saying it.
Or like eroticize a space, like an interior space. We were like thinking about the curve and like all this, and like we really wanted something sensuous, if we might say it like this, sensuous, makes sense, right?
Sensual.
Sensual, yeah, sensual. So we really wanted this organic space, and then we finally found like a location in Alton. Somebody super nice that we found through like
It was on a real estate website actually. The house was for sale, and we just contacted the agency, and they were really, really nice, and they put us in contact with the owner. And at the time when we called him, I think he already had sold the house, but he was still there for a while. So we went to see the house, and the owner was really, really nice, René. We say hi to René. And so the moment we got there, we knew this is it, because I mean, we don't really see it here, but it's really, everything is super sensual, as Lauren said, and rounded, and it's an earth house. This is something that was built for a while in Switzerland. This one in particular is by an architect called Peter Vetch. He also had a whole complex that he built somewhere else near the Bruno Weber Park in I forgot the name of the village. Anyways, so yeah, we found our perfect location, and what was even crazier, it was that this is basically the rooftop of the house, which is also like a garden, because as the house is built kind of half underground in the hill, the rooftop is actually also the back garden. So we were very happy, if happy is the right word to use in this situation, to see this nuclear plant just next to it. That was the view from the rooftop. So yeah, we had the house. We could go shoot there, and this is the day of the shooting.
This is the day of the shooting.
We wrote these 73 questions, and then actually, like in the 73 questions, the Vogue version, it's always a one shot. The video is one shot, so that was a bit of a challenge, because we really wanted to keep that, so which meant the camera cannot stop, so I cannot fail. I have to keep on saying the answers. So we did a couple of rehearsals before. In the end, there is one cut, two cuts. There are two cuts, but that's mostly because actually in one of the versions, which was not necessarily our favorite version, there was something happening with the cat. So we really wanted to have the cat, which is, this is our team.
I see there's some question like you, I'm not understanding the connection with the iris flower yet, okay?
Oh yeah.
What is the name of the architect of the house nearby Alton?
Okay.
We can type this, but Peter Vetch, we can type this maybe later on. The connection with the iris flower is, I think we were trying to come up with like a very mystical name, but also like a name that was interesting for to explore visually, give us like very strong. We were so into flowers at that time for some reason, and we were looking through also like Egyptian mythology, and we were close to Isis, and then we're like, let's try Iris for, and it will give us like a lot of possibilities to explore the flower part.
It was also because we were also looking into the anthroposophic, pharmaceutic topic, and actually we were looking at lists of all of the flowers and plants that they use, and iris is one of the flowers that they use a lot in the anthroposophic medicine. So we thought iris is a pretty nice name it's also not the most feminine, which was nice. It was not, now it is, but anyway, yeah, that's how we came up with this name.
And how we came up with the questions also, we wanted to very briefly talk about this. We wrote the question and the answers in a month and a half approximately. We're just doing like back and forth. And the idea was to go to start with a very superficial question and to finish toward like even more mystical and weirder questions, and to have also the idea of the two words. So the first word is happen in the house, and the questioner is still weird but okay, and it gets slightly weirder at the end. And then when Iris opened the door, she entered a second word, and this second word is supposed to be the word of you have access to spirits and all kind of things you can't access in the first word, the reality that we share together, which was a notion that we read a lot in Steiner writings and books, this two-word kind of thing, this parallel words and dimensions. So we were very interesting to explore these two aspects. So the second part is we're just like trying to come up with the weirdest thing that but it was also a mashup between all kind of different figures like Osho, but also like the Maharishi, who was the guru of the Beatles. Anthony William is a medical medium. He has been working with Kim Kardashian also. All kind of guru figure, but we're also super interested, of course, by Elon Musk, Kanye West. There's a lot of influence of today's, like characters that are, like so famous that everything that they do is becoming political for us. So that was super interesting to mash up all this characters together and make some kind of woman, a powerful woman who has multiple endeavors, multiple ventures, and is also very, very weird, and also like very specific on ideological ideas. So a bit out there as a person, and we wanted her to be like representing a bit like what type of belief we can spread through a specific media, and in this case through art, but also like playing in the sense like maybe if this video is released on the internet, maybe some people will think like, who is this person? I've never heard about it. So like really playing on the fakeness and the reality of this character. I guess also super interesting for us is to really talk about healing. We were, like during COVID, it was for us important, like striking for us to reveal a space interior. For us, it was really like about this during COVID time. We really saw how media invade our domestic space, invade our intimity, and how it can be some kind of fetish to see inside people's house, and especially inside celebrities' house, where the lifestyle is a bit outrageous for most of the celebrity, when maybe half of the planet is not very comfortable, and it's also this obscenity that we were interesting. It's fascinating, but also fascinating, but also super intriguing, and also we're a bit it's not easy to see those images, and like we were like saying like, what are we looking at? Like, what are we looking at? Kim Kardashian is in her big mansion while there's so much poverty in the world. There's just a bit this tension here, and you what were you saying?
That it's also just a way to escape. You
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah,
You're
media
yeah.
became so strong during the pandemic. Everybody was like glued to their computer and was just like wanted to comment on like what was online, what was available. To mention, fun fact, but the video of Kim Kardashian on YouTube of the 73 question has been seen 58 million times. So for us, it's huge cultural assets that we want to take over and speak about. This is Kim Kardashian being like healed by Anthony William, the medical medium. And we are gonna wrap it up because it's already time. This is a photo shoot we did a few weeks ago of Maria as Iris in the mountain in Switzerland. We want to say that our character is not closed in that video, but we want her to be to be a transmedia character. Basically, she's gonna spread over other media. She's gonna appear under other forms in different type of media. So this is like, for example, a photo shoot we did, and we were like super inspired by this other figure, Dr. Ruja Ignatova, also known as the Missing Crypto Queen. It's a BBC podcast, and it's also like maybe the biggest scam in history for now. She scammed millions of people by selling like fake cryptocurrency. So this was our attempt to do some kind of Wired cover, but it's fired, and Dr. Ruja Ignatova also became famous because she did a fake cover of Forbes. And this fake cover of Forbes got spread out and somehow on the internet, and people thought she was on the cover of Forbes. So she had this kind of like legitimacy suddenly by a media, but it was a fake cover. So we were super interested of spreading maybe Iris on other type of media. And then Swissnex also gave us the opportunity to have some ads on Outforum, which we are super happy about.
And it's also funny to see Iris precisely in relation with what Lauren was saying just before, to see her populating very official art websites.
This is making us very happy, and we're gonna continue on spreading Iris under various forms and invading some, very various media outlets. So that was a bit our insights of Iris. I think we have some questions here. I see on the Q&A.
Where can we see the recording of this? I would like to pass it on. It's actually on the Swissnex website on the exhibition, in the exhibition section, right, Mary? I'm saying it correctly. So you can see it. You can see it there. I mean, it's online. It's
online. We put it on Vimeo, and it's on Swissnex website, and you can see it online. For the moment, we have its English version, and we also have a French version also on Vimeo, but just with French subtitles.
Yeah.
Then there is another question. I don't know if it's a question or just a remark. Anna Coulter, you saying you were with Steiner and Osho? We don't really understand where you. Can you maybe explain a bit more? Did you know them, or do you want to come up on screen and ask a question, or?
Just a reminder, if anyone would like to, they're welcome. They could just raise their hand and we'll bring them on screen. Oh, here she answered.
Oh, wow. You were in India at the ranch.
So
oh my God.
It would be us who would have questions for you.
We're super curious. So
Wow.
were you a follower of Osho and his philosophy? And oh my God, you must have so interesting stories. We would like to know if you agree with that documentary about him on Netflix. For those who haven't seen it, it's very spectacular, a bit sensational documentary on Osho, so this guru that started a commune in the 80s in Oregon.
It looks like she's come on stage. Anna, if you unmute yourself, you could also come on camera if you wish to respond. Oh, there you are. Hello.
Hello.
Hi,
Yes,
Anna.
yes, I was not prepared for this.
Oh,
So-
You can turn off the
No,
camera if
it's
you
okay.
don't.
It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. I'm very interested in what you're doing.
Thank you.
thank you.
Yes, I'm a lot older than you, so I have this whole experience behind me, but I definitely had a very interesting life.
Wow.
My last sharing about Osho was at the Burning Man. You know about Burning Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should know about this too, from what you're doing. I love your visual. I'm also an artist.
Where do you live, Anna?
In close to San Francisco.
Oh, okay, cool. So you lived at the ranch at Osho's
Yes.
place?
Yes.
Wow. For how many months or years?
I was about 5 years in India and 3 years at the ranch.
Wow.
Most of the
Can we
time.
keep contact? We absolutely want to interview you.
Yeah.
We're super interested to have direct, experience, like people that really like follow Osho and like follow gurus, and we're like super intrigued, for our work, but also like personal curiosity. That would be very nice to.
It's just a big difference between the outer drama and the inner process.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, you can't compare the two somehow.
I mean, if you want, you can maybe just write us in private your email address, and then we can keep in contact, and you can.
Yeah, that's great. I would love to meet you. Maybe you want to visit me. I have a really nice house.
Well,
I'm coming soon.
She will.
I have space also.
Gonna come to San Francisco. I'm not sure I'm gonna make it anytime
Where
soon.
are you right now?
In Switzerland. We are both in Geneva right now.
Oh, yeah, I come to Switzerland in June.
Oh, okay. So you have links with Switzerland too? Nice. That's also like the piece that we did was also underlining like the very specific connection between the West Coast and especially like San Francisco and the Bay Area and Switzerland, because also like something that is so we're both like immigrants per se in Switzerland. I'm French and Maria is from Romania. And we live now in Switzerland since many years, and for us, all the very interesting Swiss cultural aspect for us is people who are healers in Switzerland, which is a really big part of the culture here. And we also feel like in the West Coast there is something, very linked to, like the hippie movement, new age. All this is like for us like super interesting to make links and be. And also my husband is from the Bay Area, so we have really like trying to interlink all this connection together and try to decipher all those various ideas and thoughts, and this is for us very interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, please let's.
We have definitely lots in common. I have lots of irises in my garden, and I have a background also in architecture, and we have lots in common.
Oh,
wow.
that's damn. Maybe we found our Iris.
Maybe it's yeah.
Maybe.
You're the real Iris.
Well,
Nice.
thank you, Anna. I see you put your.
Very nice to meet you, Anna.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Please write us.
Yeah, we already have
Okay,
her
cool.
email
Awesome.
address.
Thank you.
If there are other people that have questions, you can ask us in the chat, or maybe come on screen like Anna did.
You can ask the question in the Q&A function if you wish to not come on screen, but like Lauren said, you're also welcome. Just raise your hand if you'd like to come on screen. Maybe as in the meantime, as we see if people would like to join, I'll just ask you, I'm fascinated by the contradictions in this work. Like, I feel like that's what you've just talked about for the past half hours, all these contradictions and sort of there's this fluidity of the Iris character. You know, she is so many things. And I actually am fascinated by the cat in the video. And at some points I thought, is the cat Iris? Is the cat the guru? Maybe, was the cat a happy accident?
Yes, I mean, in the very beginning, we did wanted to have a pet. First of all, we thought we are gonna be able to have a dog. We thought that Iris will have a small dog, and we already had the name for the dog, and that name was Iskador. And Iskador is actually the name of one of of an anthroposophic medicine, which is believed to cure cancer, and it's based on mistletoe. It's like, I mean, it was never scientifically proved that it's efficient for anything, but they firmly believe that it worked. So
it was also like for many years, like the, how do you say, like the main, like the money maker for the anthroposophical movement and all the companies and ventures behind it. So Iscador was the name of that medicine that was supposed to cure cancer, but it never been proved if it was actually cure cancer or if it was just a simple placebo. But we were also thinking about this very, contradictory, thing, like, and a bit, how do you say, when it's a bit scandalous, but also like, yeah. So we named the cat like this, and
so yeah. And then when we found the house, we also realized that the René and Marion, his girlfriend, René's girlfriend, they had a cat, and the cat was mostly outside in the garden. So we kind of knew that she might appear when we were shooting the second part of the video in the garden, and it was beautiful because she really came.
It was magical.
It was magical. She came. She popped up twice.
She was part of the movie
at the perfect moment. So we kind of at some point we also adapted a little bit the text to
you improvised.
I did a little improv, but yeah. So the real name of the cat was Suzy Sans Souci. But yeah. Now forever stayed in history as Iskador.
Yeah, we wanted the character Iris to be able to have a pet, so she can prove she talks to other beings, among animals and plants, because she can communicate with all kind of beings. She's like this extra sensate, right? So yeah, the cat was a very serendipitous miracle for the shoot.
Yeah, I suggest you all watch the video and take note of the cat. I think, also, again, just to go back to these contradictions or complexities, the two sides, I think also of, the West Coast, San Francisco, California versus Switzerland. I think of you know, the character of Iris herself. There were times like she's so fake, like Kanye perhaps and Kim Kardashian and these gurus, that, you know, is she an alien? Is she good? For me, there was the question of goodness as well. If we talk about like healing, perhaps in gurus, the sort of the ego,
Yeah.
the good work of is there good work in the guru? Is this new economy of Kim Kardashian good? You know,
Yeah. You know, what was interesting is like we kind of spread there and there in the text like some clues or insight of like maybe she's a very ambiguous character, because she did say at some point she has a global surveillance system. She's you know, she did say stuff like that in the text, and sometimes she appears very wise and sometimes very superficial and a bit you know, annoying, you know, theatrical. And we wanted this ambiguity of the character because we think also like being recorded and being spread over different type of media is also changing so much a personality and how you you know, how you it's so different from how you know the person and how it spreads through.
Perceive it.
Yeah, so for us this is very interesting as artists because Maria works a lot about this, and I usually refuse to show anything of myself online because for many reasons, I think it's yeah, it's very problematic for me to show my face. That's why I have a mask today. But yeah, for the Zoom, you know, webinar and conference like this, it's kind of hard to be not here because we're already not here together. So like I decided to take this yeah, to take this form. But for us, how you are seen and through which media, and it can totally change how you are perceived and who you are, and this was like very at the core of the project.
yeah, and I think that definitely speaks to our moment. Yeah, 100% as we're living online, and this talk will live on past this moment, for example.
Yeah.
And you know, we're alone, yet more visible and more public.
Yeah.
Are there any?
People believe what they see. Sorry, no, just
No. Any last thoughts? Any last words? Looks like we're coming to a close from the audience or from you two. Well, otherwise, oh, is there someone in the Q&A? Oh, thank you. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
And I suggest you check out the video. Thank you so much.
Watch the video, guys. If nothing else, we promise it's funny. At least it's entertaining. It's entertaining.
There's one more question maybe that's popped up, saying that there was a glitch when you were talking about the connection between Kim Kardashian and Willida. Can you explain further? Could you quickly say something about that before we close?
Where is the question? We can't see it.
It's in the Q&A.
Wait, I saw.
It's a question about the connection between.
Oh yeah, okay. There was a glitch when you were talking about the connection between Kim Kardashian and Veleda. Can you explain further?
Well, thank you, Hunter, for this question.
Thanks, Hunter. We were just like fascinating how basically you have one human being that has done everything to be famous, like Kim Kardashian, did many things among like a sex tape for example, to access that higher status. For us, celebrity is the nouveau aristocracy. It's like they have this high status above all other. They have the same status now that political leaders, religious leaders, and for us, the celebrity culture is not very much analyzed. And so we were thinking, Kim Kardashian is now like selling millions of products. If she puts something online and she said it's for sale, it's gonna be sold within a few minutes. And for us, it was very interesting to make the link between beauty product and healing and philosophy, like spirituality, because in their show Keeping Up with the Kardashian, they talk a lot about God, spiritual elements. For us, it was really like a link between Rudolf Steiner and Kim Kardashian. For us, the link was a bit obvious, but maybe it's not obvious
but
for everybody.
also in a sense, I mean, of course, we're talking about two super different types of personalities,
And
two
time.
different kind of eras.
Yes.
But they were both in their times and in some ways, like, let's say, I don't know, multidisciplinary
Leaders and entrepreneurs.
Yeah, because Rudolf Steiner was also an entrepreneur, although it was maybe not the main thing, and back then it didn't have the same meaning as it has today. It was maybe not so important either, but yeah, he was definitely dealing with different kind of satellites.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. And making the links between those two figures for us was also like a way of realize how much there's like some patterns of like how you have a philosophy and a leadership on something, and then you sell products. We were seeing some kind of pattern here that we wanted to look further. And also, I wanted to say something else, but I totally forgot. I'm sorry.
I think
You're welcome.
Sorry.
But Hunter is saying thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a lovely day or evening. And thank you, Maria and Lauren.
Thank you, Marie. Thank you so much for having us. And thank you, Swissnex, again, for the opportunity of making the work in proper condition. We really want to thank.
Really meant a lot.
Yeah.
And thanks to everyone who was here tonight.
I hope our train of thoughts were understandable and not too crazy.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye.